Hello, guys. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, teacher Santiago.
Hello, guys. How are you?
I'm
That it's wonderful to hear. Well, guys, it is time to start, so let's begin. Today we are supposed to go over Unit 2, pages 18 and 19 from the book Top Notch 2. After that, we will continue in Unit 4, pages 40 and 41 from the book Top Notch 2. Then we will continue with Unit 7, pages 78 and 79. And finally, we will finish in Unit 10, pages 114 and 115 from the book Connectivity 2. So guys, taking that into account, let's start. Let's open our books in Unit 2, pages 18 and 19. Over here, I am going to ask Jorge to please help us read our goal.
okay. Discuss preference for movie genres.
That's right, guys. And before we talk about movie genres, first, we need to know some vocabulary. Let's listen to these different movie genres.
Read and listen. An action film. A horror film. A science fiction film. An animated film.
A comedy. A drama. A documentary. A musical.
Now listen again and repeat. An action film. A horror film. A science fiction film. An animated film.
A comedy. A drama. A documentary. A musical.
And now that we know this vocabulary, let me ask you, Jorge, what is your favorite genre?
I like thrillers, movies. And I like to documentaries and comedy and animated.
Fantastic. Now,
That's it.
Jorge, it's your turn to ask a question using this vocabulary to one of your classmates. What do you want to ask? Danilo, Michelle, or Joanna?
Uh, Daniela.
Oh, to Danilo?
You say Daniela or Danilo?
Danilo.
Okay, let's do it with Danilo.
Excellent. Thank you, Danilo. And Danilo, it's your turn. Now you ask the question. Who do you want to ask? Michelle or Joanna?
Hello. So I like horror film and comedy is my favorite.
Wonderful. And Michelle, what are you going to ask Joanna?
Joanna, what do you like the movie genders?
Hi, good afternoon. Um, I prefer to I prefer comedy, comedy genre and romantic movies.
Fantastic. And guys, now that I know a little bit more about you, let's continue with some grammar. Over here, guys, we are going to talk about different ways to talk about wants and to talk about preferences. That means we're going to talk about would like and would rather. Case, we use would like in an infinitive. Do you remember what it's an infinitive? Okay, so don't forget that an infinitive
Yeah,
it's
it's
about
like
that.
uh,
Oh, tell us.
we use to and verb in the simple way, like
Mhm.
present.
That's right, an infinitive it's when we use to. Okay, so we use would like and an infinitive to talk about once. Like in this case, Jorge, can you please help us read these three examples?
Uh, would you like would you like go to the theater? Would you like to go to theater?
Oh, but there's these three examples right here.
Read. Oh, sorry. I'd like to go to the movies. Would she like to see the dancer? What would your friends like to do?
Okay, so as you can see here, we use would like and an infinitive to talk about your wants. However, when you want to choose your preferences between two or more activities, we can use would rather and the base form of a verb. Like in this case, Danilo, can you please help us read these three examples? So guys, when we have a preference between two or more activities, like an animated film, an action film, or a movie or a play, we can use would rather and the base form of the verb. However, guys, when we want to talk about negative preferences, we use would rather not. Like in this case, Joanna, can you please help me read this example?
Mm, we'd rather not watch TV tonight.
That's right. So when your negative is when your preference is negative, we can simply add not. Would rather not watch. And finally, let's finish with some questions. Michelle, could you please help us read these yes no questions and the answers?
Would you like to see documentary? Yes, I would like. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Would they rather stay home? Yes, they would. No, they wouldn't. Or no, they rather not.
Thank you. And guys, we need to be very careful because when we answer yes no questions, we only say yes I would. For example, guys, in this case, we say, would you rather see Titanic? We can say yes I would. We never say yes I would rather. Same thing here. When we answer with would like, we never say yes I would like. We simply say yes they would. Like in this case, would they like to go out tonight? Yes, they would. We never say no, they would not like. Finally, guys, in affirmative answers, we never use contractions. For example, when we ask, would your parents like to go to the early show? We say yes, they would. We never use the contraction yes, they'd. Now, guys, is this information clear?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Well, if that is the case, let's go with some practice. Over here, we have 5 different conversations. What I want you guys to do is to please complete this conversation, taking into account our previous grammar. So let's go with volunteers. Who wants to help me with number 1? Yes, Danilo? Perfect. Thank you, Danilo. Now let's continue with Jorge.
The second one, right?
Please.
Would you would you like to stream something on TV? Yes, I like it. I would like. It.
So, Jorge, when we answer a question, is it okay to say, yes, I would like?
Yes, I would.
Yes, I would. Perfect. Now let's continue with the ladies. Girls, who wants to continue with number three? Joanna or Michelle?
I, teacher.
Tell me.
Mm, what would you rather a science fiction film or a comedy? What what would you rather see a science fiction film or a comedy? Me, I rather see a science fiction movie.
Fantastic. Now let's continue with Michelle. Michelle, could you please continue with number four?
There is musical and horror movie on TV. Mm, will your husband raise it horror movies? Movie? Yes, he would.
Perfect. And let's finish with Jorge one more time. Jorge, can you please help us with number five?
Yeah, my sister would like to go to the movies on Friday. Great, I would too.
Fantastic. And guys, now that we've talked about would like and would rather, is this information more clear?
Yes, teacher is.
Perfect. So if this is clear, let me ask you guys, what would you rather be? The driver or the passenger when you go in a car?
I would rather a passenger in a Bogota.
And let's talk about that. Let's continue talking about driving. Let's move to Unit 4, pages 40 and 41. Over here, Danilo is going to help us read our goal. And before we talk about car accidents, first, we need to know about different car parts. Guys, let's listen to this vocabulary.
Read and listen. Exterior. 1,
Headlight.
2, engine. 3,
Hood.
4, windshield wiper. 5,
Windshield.
6, sunroof. 7,
Trunk.
8, taillight. 9,
Turn signal light.
10, bumper. 11,
Tire.
12, side view mirror. 13,
Window.
14, door. Interior. 1, steering wheel. 2,
Horn.
3, dashboard. 4,
Gas pedal.
5,
Brake pedal.
6, clutch. 7, Gear shift. 8,
Rear view mirror.
9. Emergency brake. 10.
Seat belt.
Now listen again and repeat.
Headlight.
Engine,
Hood.
windshield wiper,
Windshield.
sunroof,
Trunk.
taillight,
Turn signal light.
bumper,
Tire.
side view mirror,
Window.
door, steering wheel,
Horn.
dashboard,
Gas pedal. Brake pedal.
clutch, gear shift,
Rear view mirror.
emergency brake,
Seat belt.
And let's use this vocabulary. Let's start with Danilo. Danilo, what is the name of the light at the back of the car? Oh, but there is a light at the back of the car that indicates a stop. Do you know what it's the name? Oh, there is one light at the back of the car. Do you know what is the name of that light? It is located in the back. The trunk is not really the light. It is the tail light. Perfect. Now let's continue with Jorge. Jorge, what is the name of the light that indicates a turn?
Turn signal light.
Perfect. Let's continue with Joanna. Joanna, what is the name of the part that the driver uses to go to the left, to go to the right?
Maybe steering wheel.
That is the steering wheel. Let's continue with Michelle. Michelle, what is the part of the car that cleans the front window?
Tar. Teacher, what is pronunciation tire?
Oh, the tire?
Tire. Undo.
But I'm looking for a part that cleans the windshield when it's raining.
Um, rear view mirror. Mirror.
Not really. The review mirror is inside. I'm looking for
Por
something
fuera.
outside of the car that cleans.
With windshield wiper.
The windshield wiper. Now
Windshield.
that's right.
Windshield wiper.
Now let's continue with Danilo. Danilo, what is the name of the pedal that makes the car go faster? Wonderful. Let's continue with Jorge. Jorge, what is the name of the part that keeps the passenger safe in case of an accident?
The seat belt
Hmm,
and the seat belt.
fantastic. Now let's continue with Joanna. Joanna, what is the name of the light that helps the driver see the road?
Headlight.
The headlight. And let's finish with Michelle. Michelle, what is the name of the back of the car that we use to carry things?
Trump.
That is the trunk. Perfect, guys. And now that we know this vocabulary, let's continue with some grammar. Over here, we're going to talk about the past continuous. As you know, guys, we use the past continuous to talk about activities that continued during a period of time in the past. Okay, to form the past continuous, we are going to use was or were and the present participle of a verb. Remember, guys, the participle it's a verb that ends in ing. Like in this case, the other driver was speeding. That means that it's an action that continued during a time in the past. Now let's take a look at some other examples. Danilo, can you please help us read these three examples? So guys, when we talk about actions that continued during a period of time in the past, we use was or were and a verb in ing. On the other hand, we have the simple past tense. Remember, guys, we use the simple past tense to talk about completed actions in the past. Of course, we can combine the past continuous with simple past tense. However, guys, don't forget to use when you combine them. Like in this case, Jorge, can you please help me read this example?
It was raining when she had the accident.
That's right, guys. So raining, it's an action that continued in the past. However, when you had the accident, it's an action that finishes. So that's why we say it was raining when she had the accident. Okay, is it clear how to use the past continuous?
Always the past continuous. Use the when in the middle, right? Always.
Oh, only when we mix past continuous and simple past tense.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yes, otherwise it's not necessary. Any other questions, guys? Well, if there aren't questions, then guys, let's continue with some practice. Over here, we have a paragraph. What I want you guys to do is to please complete the paragraph using either past continuous or the simple present tense. Guys, let's do a review. Do you remember what is the difference between past continuous and simple past tense?
The simple past tense was an action that is complete. The action was finished.
Mhm. And the past continuous? Well, as the name says, it's an action that continued in the past.
But this action was finished in the past too, or is continuous in the present.
Usually we use the past continuous when it continued during a period of time in the past. So it finishes in the past. So guys, I'll give you, let's say, 1 minute. 1 minute to finish this activity and then we can check it, okay? All right, guys. So you have a minute to finish. So you have a minute to finish starting now. And guys, let's start with Danilo. Danilo, can you please help me read until here? So in this case, when you think you pay attention, is it only for a short period or you pay attention for a long period of time? I was paying. Fantastic. Now let's continue with Jorge. Jorge, can you please continue reading until here?
When the phone rang and the phone rang, I answered. Sorry, when the phone was ringing, I answered. Suddenly, the car in front of me stopped.
Fantastic. And let's finish with Joanna. Joanna, can you please help us reading the last part?
And I hit it. Oh, I certainly learned my lesson. Luckily, I I wasn't speeding when I had the accident.
Wonderful, guys. That was perfect. And guys, now is it clear how to use the past continuous?
Yes, teacher.
Well, if that is clear. Oh,
I have a question.
tell me.
You said, Danilo, that if the action is short or large, depend on the use eng or not. If the action is short of large, right?
Mhm. Well, not sure, Latch, if the action continued or if the action stopped.
Okay, got it.
Yes, so for example, when you pay attention, it's an action that continues for a period. You don't pay attention and then it finishes. However, when you have an accident, it's not something that you continue to have and continue to have. It's simply an action that finishes.
Okay.
Perfect. In case now that we have clarified that, let's continue talking about friends. Guys, let's go to Unit 7, pages 78 and 79. Over here, I'm going to ask Joanna to please help us read our goal.
Cheer someone up.
And guys, do you know what does it mean to cheer a person up?
No, teacher.
When you cheer someone up, it's because that person is sad, and then you try to make that person happy. And let's take a look at an example. Over here we have one picture. Guys, what do you see on this picture?
There a sad person, and the other person try to try to uh, mejorar su estado de ánimo, pero
That's right, he's trying to make him feel better. So
make him
guys,
feel better.
let's take a look at this conversation model. We have a friend trying to cheer someone up. Let's listen.
Read and listen to someone trying to cheer a friend up. You look down. What's up? Oh, nothing serious. I'm just tired of the same old grind. But thanks for asking. I know what you mean. I'm tired of working too. How about going to a movie? That always helps me. Great idea. Let's go this afternoon.
And guys, remember that if someone is down, that means that the person is sad, unhappy, upset, or even depressed. So guys, why is this person down?
He feels so tired for the working.
Yeah, he feels very tired of doing the same thing every day. Now, guys, let's listen the conversation a second time. But this time, let's focus on rhythm and intonation before we practice. Let's hear them again.
Listen again and repeat. Then practice the conversation model with a partner. You look down. What's up? Oh, nothing serious. I'm just tired of the same old grind. But thanks for asking. I know what you mean. I'm tired of working too. How about going to a movie? That always helps me. Great idea. Let's go this afternoon.
And now it's our turn to practice. I'll ask Joanna to please help me with letter A. Michelle, could you please help us with letter B?
You look down. What's up?
Oh, nothing serious. I am just tired of the same old grind, but thanks for asking.
I know what you mean. I'm tired of working too. How about going to a movie? That always helps me.
Great idea. Let's go this afternoon.
Fantastic. And first, now that we know how to cheer someone up, let's continue with some grammar. Over here, we're going to talk about gerunds as objects of prepositions. First of all, guys, do you remember what it's a gerund?
No, teacher.
Don't worry. A gerund is a verb that uses ing. Okay, sometimes gerunds can function as an object after a preposition. What does this mean? Well, guys, sometimes with certain adjectives and certain verbs, we're always going to use the same preposition and a gerund, like in this case. Johanna, can you please help me read these three examples?
I'm afraid. She's bored. She objects.
Oh, can you please help me read the full sentences?
Okay. I'm afraid of flying. She's bored with cooking. She objects to discussing her feelings.
So guys, as you can see here, we have some adjectives and verbs, and we always use the same preposition. Afraid of, bored with, objects to. And of course, we're going to use a gerund. Afraid of flying, bored with cooking, objects to discussing. Now, how do we know what preposition to use? Well, fortunately, there is a list. Over here, we have some expressions that are always followed by the same preposition and a gerund. I'll ask Danilo, can you please help me read the list of adjectives and prepositions? So guys, as you can see here, we usually use the same preposition with the verb and then a gerund. For example, I am happy about traveling, or she is afraid of swimming, and we are crazy about learning. Okay, so as you can see here, we always use the same adjective with the preposition and a gerund. Happy about, afraid of, crazy about, and of course a gerund about traveling, about swimming, about learning. Same thing with these verbs. Um, Michelle, can you please help us read these verbs and the prepositions?
Complain about, apologize for, talk avoid, believe in, worried about, object to, think about.
So guys, same thing with verbs. We're always going to use the same preposition and a gerund. For example, she complains about working, or they apologize for being late. And we can also say we think about visiting you. Same thing here, guys. Same verb with the preposition. Complains about, apologize for, think about, and a gerund. About working, for being, about visiting. Finally, guys, we always use a gerund. We never use an infinitive. For example, guys, is it okay to say, let's go to watch a movie instead of to watch TV? Yes, guys, can we say instead of to watch? Can we use an infinitive?
No, but I don't know why.
That's right, we don't use an infinitive. And the reason it's very simple. What do we use? Here we use a gerund. So in this case, we don't say instead of to watch, what do we say? Instead of watching. Perfect. And guys, are you ready to do some practice?
Yep.
Perfect. Let's do it. Over here, guys, we have Ted's life. What I want you guys to do is to please complete these descriptions using a preposition and a gerund. So let's start with a volunteer. Who wants to help me read number one? Yes, Danilo? Okay, you're almost there, Danilo. However, you're using a gerund, but you're not using a preposition. Hmm. So we say believes about. Here you have the list. Believes in building. Fantastic. Thank you, Danilo. Who wants to continue with number two? Michelle, Joanna, or Jorge? Yes, Jorge?
About, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Joanna, can you help us with number three?
Okay.
And Jorge will help us with picture number two.
At his job, he works with other people and he never complains. I'm looking for. He never complains. His work he's working long hours. He works hard and doesn't worry. He has to work on weekends on holiday.
And doesn't worry, here we have the verbs.
Having work.
Having
Having to
worry,
work.
worry.
Okay, guys, you're getting there, but you're not really using the prepositions. So we
Yeah.
say he complains.
About
Complain
worry about having to work.
and worry about having to work. Perfect. And let's go with Joanna. Joanna, can you please help us with the last one?
He has a few fierce dog Most of all, he is afraid. Afraid flying. Afraid to fly.
Afraid of flying?
Detective. Afraid about flying? No.
Mm.
Okay. Afraid of.
Afraid of flying. Perfect, guys. Now, after this practice, is it a little bit more clear?
A little.
I know this requires a lot of practice. And
I have a question, sir.
tell me, Jorge.
Yeah, in that part, why use afraid of and not use afraid about?
Oh, that it's just grammatical. It's because that the preposition of afraid it's always off. We never change the preposition afraid about flying.
Okay. And the preposition, we need to learn that preposition the, in order to
Yes,
be
it
used
requires a
there.
lot of practice.
Okay. Because the rest are easy, angry about, excited about, depressed about, but afraid of. Okay.
Yes, yes, sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Only that.
Wonderful, guys. And now that we've talked about friends, let's finish talking about technology. Guys, let's finish in the book Connectivity 2, Unit 10, pages 114 and 115. Over here, I'm going to ask Michelle to please help us read our goal. I'm sorry, Michelle, what is the
Michelle.
goal?
Michelle, can you hear me?
Oh, now I hear you. So what
Michelle,
is the goal?
no. Diferencia. Teacher, can you hear me?
I hear you now, Michelle.
Okay.
Tell us, what is our goal?
Compare software and services.
Mhm.
Services.
Yes, we're going to compare software and compare services. In order to do that, first we need to know different systems, different softwares, and some services. Let's listen to them.
An application.
A streaming service.
An internet browser.
An email account.
A cloud storage service.
An online backup service.
An antivirus program.
A password manager. Now listen again and repeat.
An application.
A streaming service.
An internet browser.
An email account.
A cloud storage service.
An online backup service.
An antivirus program.
A password manager.
And let's take a look at their definitions. Let's start with you, Michelle. Michelle, can you please help us read? Oh, sorry. Can you
On
please help us read these
application.
two definitions?
Okay. Computer software that enables a user to perform that such as creating documents, presentation, and other media file tips, and stream service uh, an online service that enables a user to listen to music or watch video on demand.
Perfect. Now let's continue with Danilo. Danilo, can you please continue reading these two definitions? Now let's go with Jorge. Jorge, can you please continue reading these two definitions?
A cloud storage service, a service that stores users computer files in an online location. So it is not necessary to use too much storage space on a computer. An online backup service, a service that automatically saves files a computer user creates and stores them so they cannot be they cannot be lost if the computer is damaged.
And let's finish with Michelle one more time.
An antivirus program, an application that identifies and removes computer viruses, and passport manager, an application that creates and stores a variety of security passwords.
And guys, now that we know this vocabulary, let's use it. Let's start with you, Michelle. Michelle, tell us, do you use any streaming services?
Just teacher, I use an application, a stream service, usually to listen to music.
Fantastic. Now, Michelle, it is your turn to ask a question to one of your classmates. Who do you want to ask, Danilo or Jorge?
Jorge, what is did you read the question?
Oh, you can ask any questions using this vocabulary.
Okay. Jorge, do you use an antivirus program?
Yes, I think I don't know exactly which one because my computer have had antivirus installed. But I suppose that I have.
And now, Jorge, it's your turn to make a question to Danilo. What do you want to ask him?
Danilo, do you use which is your favorite internet browser?
I see. Fantastic, guys. Now that we can use this vocabulary, let's continue with some grammar. Over here, we're going to talk about comparisons using as, an adjective, and as. Guys, when you want to express similarity, when you want to mention that two things are equal, that two things are exactly the same, we can use as, an adjective, and as. Now, if you want to make emphasis, you can use the adverb just. Like in this case. Jorge, can you please help me read these two examples?
My new email account is as secure as my old one. The Spendra music streaming app is just as free as Sick and it has a lot of more songs.
So guys, remember we can use as, an adjective, and as to make to mention that two things are equal, that they are completely the same. However, when two things are very, very similar, but they're not quite the same, we can use the adverb almost. Like in this case, Danilo, can you please help me read this example? So guys, do you think that my cloud and Flopbox are equally the same? That's right, when we say almost, it means that they are very, very similar, but they are not the same. And finally, guys, if you want to express difference, you can use not as, an adjective, and as to show that two things are not the same. Okay, so when the difference is very small, we use not quite. However, when there is a big difference, we say not nearly. Like in this case. Michelle, can you please help us read these three examples?
My old antivirus program wasn't as quite kid as my new one. Mm, this new version of document isn't quite as efficient as the other one, in my opinion. Flick me Flick my video streaming service isn't nearly as good as house tickets.
So guys, remember, when two things are not the same, when we want to express a difference, we say not as an adjective and as. When the difference is small, we say not quiet. However, when there is a big difference, we say not nearly. Finally, guys, we can use as an in an adjective only when the meaning is clear. Like here. Jorge, can you please help us read this last example?
Yeah, of course. A closet is excellent, but a flopbox is just as good.
That's right, guys. Over here, we say just as good. We don't have to say as good as a closet because the meaning is implicit. We know we're talking about a closet.
In that case, can I use better too? But flopbox is just better.
Well, we don't really use it with comparative adjectives. You can say, but Flugbox is better or as good. But we don't say as better.
No, without us. Only
Oh,
is
yes, yes,
just
yes.
better.
That's right. That it's another way of using comparison. Now, guys, is this clear?
Yes, teacher.
Fantastic. Let's
Yes, practice.
yes, let's practice. And here we have four different sentences. What I want you guys to do is to please complete these sentences using comparison with as, an adjective, and as. Let's divide them like this. First, we will start with Jorge. After Jorge, we will continue with Danilo. After Danilo, we will go with Michelle. And after Michelle, we can go with a volunteer. So guys, I'll give you, let's say, 1 minute. 1 minute to finish this activity. What I want you to do is to please use comparisons with as, an adjective and as, and over here we have some cues.
My new antivirus program is reliable as my just as always.
Hmm, that sounds a little bit strange. Let's give it more structure. Let me put this note here. Let's start from the beginning. Um, Jorge, what are we comparing in number one?
My new antivirus with my old antivirus. My
Hmm.
old
And what
antivirus.
adjective are we using?
Reliable.
Okay, so what can we say?
My new antivirus is just no, is as reliable as my old one.
Okay, that is good, but don't forget to use just.
Okay. My answer is just as reliable as my own.
Perfect. Now let's continue with number two. Danilo, how can we do number two? Okay, you're getting it there. But Danilo, don't forget to use as an adjective and as. Like in this case, we say just as reliable as. So here we say it's not nearly as yours. Perfect. Now let's continue with Michelle.
The unforgettable password manager is security is not nearly the memo password manager is let security.
So we say the unforgettable password manager is, and don't forget to use the Q here, is what?
I'm sorry. It's quiet.
It's not quiet. It's not quiet as what?
Isn't isn't quite the memo password manager is less security.
Okay, so here we have it's not quiet, and don't forget to use as an adjective and as. Like it's not nearly as user friendly as, it's just as reliable as. So here we say it's not quiet as.
No, okay, no, okay. No, quiet as as
What
one
adjective are we
moment.
using?
Mm, as good
Well, here we're using another adjective as.
is
It's not
security.
quite as secure.
The info is not quite as secure. Mm,
It's not quite as secure as what?
the memo password manager is less security.
It's not quite as secure as the memo password. Fantastic, guys. And after this practice, do you have any questions?
Uh, how can how can I am trying to do the structure of this sentence.
Yes, the structure is as, an adjective, and as.
As and complement and the rest.
Mhm. For example,
Is subject plus verb to be plus uh, adjective plus adjective plus as plus complement.
yeah, just like that. For example, Adam is as cheap as de uno.
That's
Or
good.
Carulla is not nearly as cheap as Isimo, for example. You see, we always use as an adjective and as.
And what about the just and almost?
Yes, it
This is
goes
an
before the.
adjectives. Adjectives
Yes.
too? Adjectives.
No, those are called adverbs.
Adverbs. Okay. The arbets are always before us, right?
Mm-hmm. They're before ours. We can say here is just us.
Adverb plus us plus adjective plus us.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So if there aren't any other oh, there is something in the chat. I'm sorry, didn't see earlier. Danilo says, sorry, teacher was opening the door. Oh, don't worry, Danilo. Perfect, guys. So if there are no more questions, I will let you go. So, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your participation. And I hope you all have a very good day. Goodbye,
Thank
everybody.
you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher. Have a good
guys.
day.